G'day, it's Nicola here. Welcome to the show. I've got a case study. It's called Shooting Up, a childhood memoir of love, loss and addiction by Jonathan Tepper. The show today is brought to you thanks to the Forever Young Autobiographies membership, which brings together courses, community and coaching to help you create your own life story project. Now, this could be on your own or with a loved one, and it could be as simple as recording an audio or video recording, maybe creating a feature article, a scrapbook or a photo album, or something larger such as a memoir, an autobiography or a biography. Now, I'll have a free trial to the membership coming up, so please hang about. Now, Shooting Up is a searing missionary story of growing up in the outer suburbs of Madrid during the 1980s. Now, Jonathan and his family moves to Madrid. His father is one of 8 who decided to start Betel, which is a drug rehabilitation centre, and is now one of the world's largest. Now, Jonathan's book's been put out by Infinite Books, and he's now an investment manager. And I caught up with him recently for an interview, and we're going to jump into what he covered. So the first up, a little bit of an introduction of Jonathan. So he did grow up between cultures. He said when he was growing up at the drug rehabilitation centre, almost all of the addicts had shared needles and they had HIV. These addicts became like his older brothers and sisters, and unfortunately most died from AIDS. Jonathan says he sought solace in books, and he went on to become a Rhodes Scholar and attend Oxford. But the inspiration for this book, it happened in New York City where he was living and working, and he came across a copy of Flying Over 96th Street, a memoir of an East Harlem white boy by Thomas L. Weber. Now, Thomas grew up in the 1950s and 1960s during the civil rights movement, and he had written this amazing, beautiful book, and it also told these stories of friends that had passed away. And Jonathan was thinking as he was looking at this book, look, I really need to do this, or someone needs to do this for my friends. And he got some great support from his family, his brothers, his mum, his dad. They read their first draft and they really loved it. His mother said it really inspired hope and had a great spirit behind it. His father also said it was a great draft and that it told the story from the inside. But how did Jonathan come to write this memoir? Well, he said it started about 20 years ago, but he got some rejections from some publishers, and so he put it away. He was actually pretty busy. He was starting 2 companies, an investment fund, and he also was writing some business books. But it wasn't until recently when he connected with a mentor in London who asked about the book and said, look, you really should publish this before your father dies. Now, Jonathan's father's now 79. He had a minor stroke last year and he still runs the drug rehab centre. And this conversation that Jonathan had with his mentor really inspired him. Yep, I need to finish this. And so he got it edited and he has published it just this year. He definitely said there were some hard parts. Mainly, the main thing that caused him grief was trying to make sure his memories were accurate. Because our mind can try tricks on us about what we can remember and what actually happened. So that was a real challenge. But he did do a lot of interviews. He did interviews obviously with his parents, with the co-founders of the Drug Rehabilitation Centre, with early addicts, widows and older mothers. And also he got lots of details from old photos, old articles, old videos of news bulletins, etc. And of course, there was many rewards from this project. Jonathan says the story of Raul, that was the main character in the book, and Raul was like a brother to him, he says. And the family, Jonathan and his family, got quite close and are still quite close to Raul's wife and 2 daughters. Now, Raul died in 1995 when the daughters were aged 3 and 5, and he was away at college. But he hadn't realised that the daughters didn't have many memories of their father. And so once he'd written the book and given them a copy, he said he received these beautiful notes that really the girls or the women said that it brought their father closer to them. So that's really poignant, really heartfelt reason, or I suppose benefit of writing this book, that unexpected benefit for Jonathan. But let's get down to some tips. He's trodden this path, he's written his book. What feedback, what lessons can he teach us? He said number one was to be a good reader. Great literature, classic memoirs that have stood the test of time. Really great if you can have a look at some of these so you know what inspiration, what you can write about. So that was really important. Also, number two was to read books on writing. Now here he gave a couple of examples. The first was Story by Robert McKee, and the second was Nobody Wants to Read Your SH*T by Stephen Pressfield. So there's some good reads for you to get into the spirit of life story creating. So to sum up, that's a case study on how an American missionary kid's family helped start a drug rehabilitation centre in Madrid during the 1980s HIV crisis. And to recap, I've gone over a little bit about Jonathan, his book, how he came to write it, and some tips for us for our own creating. I was really grateful to hear from Jonathan and to read his book, and there was a really transformative part, I think, of focus was that the answer to suffering is always more love. Such a powerful message and such a powerful book. If you'd like to read the full article I have about this case study over at my website, go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/shooting up. You can see covers of the book, photo of Jonathan from his childhood and from today, and there's links to buy the book and connect to him through his website. So please go check it out. And I'd also love to hear from you in the comments, or when you're over at my website, you can leave me a comment at foreveryoungautobiographies.com/contact. Now, Jonathan mentions Raoul is his childhood character in the book, but do you have a childhood character who's coming to mind when you think back to when you were younger? I'd love to hear about it, so please drop me a line. And before I go, I mentioned the free trial to the Forever Young Autobiographies membership. You can get that at the foreveryoungautobiographies.com/membership. Now, this membership is really valuable because it packs in all my decades of journalism experience into one simple system. There's templates, there's video lessons, there's live support to help you record your life story project. So please don't be shy, try the free trial, jump in and start on your project today. Now I'll be back again with another topic very soon, and I'd be so thankful if you could follow, subscribe and like the show, leave it a review or share it with a friend. So until then, happy creating.